and welcome to E-Magazine. I'm your host, Brenda Nyamichaba. Now, on today's show, we have a special topic that's awaiting an amazing conversation. Today in E-Magazine, we're going to look at running successful plays in Kenya. And I'm going to have special guests on set who are going to help me have that conversation. But before we do that, let's just take a look at the weekend recap, because a lot has happened this weekend, and there's no better way than just to talk about it and see how it went. Now, of course, this particular Saturday, the 27th edition of Korogo Festival happened, and it had amazing artists like Alpha Blondie, who was one of the frontline artists, alongside Redson and Y-Ray. Also on Sunday, the artists that were taking place that were performing was DJ Adrian, DJ Protege, and headliner who is DJ Mfalme as well. So a lot was happening this weekend in Korogo Festival, which happens each and every year, each and every month. So those lovers for festivals like Korogo Festival, I do hope it was enjoyable, because I personally missed it, and I'm hoping next month actually I'll make it for the next one. Now, what happened this weekend was the Malian Blues by Vulfaka Touré, and lovers of music and art graced Alliance Francaise to celebrate 70 years, 70 artists of different generations of Kenyan artists who have contributed to the vibrant Kenyan art scene and whose work have been shown in galleries of this institution. The exhibit is still going on till 29 September, so for the art lovers out there, you still have time to go and experience this. And also there's an amazing performance from the artist Vulfaka Touré, so make sure this is something you go to this particular weekend, because you still have time to enjoy it. And lastly, what made it on the weekend recap was When They See Us, Jarrell Jerome takes an Emmy home. Now, the star Jerome took home an Emmy for an outstanding lead actor in a limited series called When They See Us, and he shouted out the exonerated five while accepting his award from stage. Now, Jerome portrayed Wise in the miniseries to critical acclaim, and his nomination is one of the 16 for the drama, which was also up for outstanding limited series. Now, we all know Jerome had an amazing performance in When I See Us. He was one of the outstanding actors, because he portrayed the role and the character so well. We're able to really relate with it. Now, here's what he had to say when he got his Emmy Award. Such an amazing speech. Honestly speaking, when this particular actor speaks, it always moves me, just like his character did in When They See Us. Now, we're going to just jump right into this conversation, which is looking at running successful plays in Kenya, because we have a special play happening this weekend at the Braeburn. And joining me in studio today is Sam Senjen. I really struggle pronouncing that name of yours. And he's a producer and actor. Thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thanks for having me.
Yes, wonderful. Now, I just want you to tell me about, before we start talking about the play that's happening this weekend, I want to know next weekend, yes. I want to know about the process behind, producing a play.
Well, the basic steps, which I'll try and give them as steps. First, you get the script, you find a script, then you find a director, then you find the venue, then you cast. Usually, some people like getting the venue first, so that it determines which kind of play they'll do. And then once they get the director, they do the casting together. And you start rehearsals for, depending, some people like 3-week rehearsal, 4-week rehearsal, even 2 months sometimes, depending on the size of the project, the script itself. And then eventually you do the play over the weekend that you've booked.
Okay. So take for example the play All I Ever Wanted, which we'll talk about later on. How long what was the process? How long did it take before you guys finally have, you know, a set date for the play?
Well, they had the dates first. Then that's when they
walk
picked the
towards
script.
it. Okay.
Yes. So once they find the cast, they arrange for rehearsals. For Hearts of Art, usually 3 weeks, 4 weeks at most, as in basically 3 weeks and then 1 week for Tech Week. Tech Week is a week just leading to the opening night. So that's when what we call Tech Week, because that's when you do the technical rehearsals, work with the lights, sound, and now you have the stage itself, because when you're rehearsing, you don't have the set itself. So that's when you're told, so this is the door you're talking about, rehearsals, you see it. Sometimes things change, the set itself change because of limit of maybe funds or material to make the set. So some things change during Tech Week, but so that's what you work on during that week.
Okay, one. What's the most hectic part about putting a play together?
From an actor's point of view,
Yes.
it's the rehearsals, before you have your lines, the blockings and rehearsals. Once you have your line, it becomes
easy.
You enjoy it more when you have your lines. But that's the hard part. For producers, I'd say the marketing part, the making people know about the play. That's the most hectic, because that's what you are depending on.
You're very
paying
true.
bills.
And I'm happy that you even mentioned about the whole marketing process. You know, you being a producer and an actor as well, and you have experienced how the theatre or the film industry in Kenya is so far. I just want you to tell me, would you say there's a market for theatre in Kenya today? Would you say there's a lot of people who are willing to go buy tickets, go watch, you know, plays in Kenya?
Yes, there is. I mean, that's why we exist. Various production houses that do theatre, but I think we can do more to make it a bigger audience. Because you're thinking, during high school, people used to go for drama festivals. I mean, the students watching plays there. So when they leave, what happens to that audience? I mean, I'm sure they still have to come and watch something live, you know, because it's. As an actor, I love that immediate feedback from when you're performing live, because the audience is there and you know whether you're having an impact or not. So it is there, but it could be better and bigger.
Okay, and what exactly determines a success of a play?
That depends with the various theatre groups. For me, I think it's the impact that you have, because yes, at the end of the day, you do want to make some money.
Yeah.
But the impact you have on people, because I mean, the play has something it's talking about. It has a theme. So if you leave, if you at the end of the run, you have impacted on even one person, and that person will impact somebody else, and it goes on. Whether it's for them to come to watch play more plays, whether it's for them to change their habits. As long as that happens, for me, that's the success of a play.
Very true. Now, one thing on this show, we've talked about, you know, theatre, plays a lot, and trying to understand if there's a popularity or if there's a want for people to watch plays. Because there are a lot of script writers trying to get into this market, produce plays that tell stories about Kenya itself. So I wanted to know, from your opinion, you being an actor, would you say that theatre is very popular today in Kenya?
For some people, yes, it is popular, but you find people we like being in a comfort zone, having not having to move about to go and watch something. But from evidence, as from Koroga, people do. We have audiences that want to go and see something live, and not just buy a DVD somewhere and go watch it. Because sometimes I hear people saying, when are you going to give us the DVD of this show, Nini? But come watch it live and talk to the people afterwards.
Have you ever had the chance to be an audience instead of being the one on stage?
Yes, I do, and it's something that I want. I do enjoy being, because I know people say that as an actor you would watch it with a critical eye.
Yes,
saying,
most definitely.
I can do that. I can do better than that. But for me, I usually just sit there as an audience. I don't try and critique. I enjoy it. If, of course, it wasn't up to par, it'd be evident, not just for me, but for the audience as well, the other audience that are not used to knowing the workings backstage.
So obviously being in production of plays, I wanted you to explain to me, perhaps it's in the point of view of a scriptwriter or producer itself, what are some of the things people, production needs to consider, especially when it comes to writing a play for a Kenyan audience? What are the themes that, a Kenyan appeals to a Kenyan audience, or the stories that appeal to a Kenyan audience?
There's a tendency, especially now in what we have on our TV stations, of people thinking that comedy is all what Kenyans want. But that's a lie, because we know from what they watch on the pay TVs and what they buy from DVD stores that they do watch action, they do watch sci-fi, they watch, as in there's a range of market out there that is not fed on TV. So the same goes for stage, because you have most of the people do farces, slapstick comedy, and very rarely do you find dramas or in this case social political plays. So that is where I think, cause comedy, they feel comedy will sell. People want to laugh. It's a comedy, come and see it.
Yeah.
But we can't just be laughing all the time.
Very true.
So I think writers should try a bit of horror, because I don't think we ever had any horror on stage. I'd love a thriller personally. Thriller, not just suspense, but there's thriller. There's
Why do you think a lot of Kenyan writers are afraid to try these different themes? Because, for example, if you look in the Western space, like, they try different things. There's horror, there's romantic, there's a lot of things to consider and watch.
Yes, I don't know. Why don't you write these things? You can ask them. But I think it's also sometimes, most of the time when you write, you've been asked, you've been commissioned, or you have you have your own ideas or your own things that you like writing about. So unless a group says, okay, we want to put up a horror, and they talk to a director, a writer, and they do that, maybe that's when you'll have more of that.
Okay, earlier on you had mentioned that obviously some of the hectic and the challenges that comes when it comes to producing plays could be the finances, and I wanted to talk about that a bit more. Take for example a play. How much cost does it go into production of a play? How much approximately?
Approximately.
Yes.
Okay, I'll say something, and then people will figure out whether how much it's going to cost.
No problem.
We did a 200 last year. That's 2 people on stage. And then, of course, we have the guy working on the lights, the stage manager, ushers, people on the tickets, selling tickets. And it cost us, usually the hall is what costs a lot.
The most, okay.
Yes, that's where the bulk of the expenses goes to. It came to 200,000. And that is, we haven't counted the marketing at all. The marketing is not even there. This is just paying for the hall and paying for the personnel. 200,000. And of course, I forget the set.
Yes.
A simple set, not too technical, just backdrop. Okay, not a backdrop, but wooden, and it's very simple. That was 200,000. So if you have a production like what they had some time back, like Rwanda, the Rockman, because it's a musical theater with very elaborate sets, that the cost goes up. So if you're talking about just a production, you'd say between 200 and maybe 300, and then from there, that's when you put in money for marketing, because without marketing, people won't come. Without publicizing it, people know about it.
And once all this is done, how do you guarantee that you're actually going to get money back from the sales from the tickets, or perhaps even it's the marketing? How do you guarantee you get that money back?
We talk to people like Brenda and tell them, let's have us on our show. It's the publicizing part and the marketing part that is and just pushing the tickets, and not just through social media and people but media, that means media as well, newspapers, as in you find every way that you can be able to talk to influencers, such like things. And usually what you have, when you contact people who've come to watch you as well, they can help pushing the play, because they say, I watched this play, they're doing something else, come watch, I loved it, so let's go enjoy it together.
Okay, wonderful. Now, of course, I want to talk about the play itself, and also I'll have Janita Susie join me later to just talk about it more. But I wanted to really understand why the theme that you picked for this particular play. Why a social you know, political theme?
I think that's a trend with Hearts of Art, or should I say the writer
Yeah.
who does most of Hearts of Art's plays, that's Walter Sitati. He wants to edify people, not just entertain them. He wants to inspire them. So you find he'd want people to be able to, for example, in this one, there's a balance between work and home. I mean, do you put all your efforts at work so that you provide for your home and forget about the people who are at home that you're providing for? Are you there for them and such things? So he wants to touch on such things, and that's what he loves doing. Basically, things that are relevant to Kenyans and they are current as well. Yeah.
And what role do you play?
I play the judge in the play who...
You can definitely pass for a judge. You definitely pass for a judge.
Oh yes, of course. I won't have all this facial hair. That'll be less than.
Okay. So you haven't explained to me fully what the judge's role is in the play.
Yes. The judge is basically the guy they follow. He's the one who's been questioned whether he balances his life, his work life and his home life properly. The judge, he sees the mess that the nation is in. All this, whether it's people taking you after chewing your gum and you throw the paper and saying that's not my work, kanjo watafanya hiyo, such like things, and okay, it's a mess out there. So he's thinking, whatever comes to my courtroom, I'll try and fix it. I won't like follow. He follows the constitution, the law as it is, but in his own interpretation, he tries and make people see that there's a better way of doing things. So there's that. But then now he's so obsessed about cleaning up the nation and the mess that is in the nation through the courtroom that he forgets about his wife and his kids. He doesn't give them as much attention as they should.
Okay, wow, that sounds like an interesting plot right there. Well, thank you so much, Sam. I really appreciate it. I'm not going to say the last time. Let me not lie to you. I'm not going to embarrass myself twice. Now, I'm going to have Joanita, pardon me, join me later on. But we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about All I Ever Wanted and get to know when it's playing and where we're going to go watch it.